evening, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. How's everybody doing? Late night evening. As y'all know, I'm kind of like a night owl. I'm awake most of the night. It's been like this for a very long time when I was in the military, after the military, and I'm right here trying to go live with Brother Rezende. Resende's, I can't remember his last name. Let me see if I can find him. I'm gonna send him invite him to the group. Okay. I'll send him an invite. His name is Rezende Gilberto. Gilbert Resendes. I sent him an invite to see he would like to join. He wants to share his experiences. He contacted me through Messenger, and I told him, you know what, I'm wide awake right now. Let's go for it. Let's do it live. Hopefully he'll join, so we can do this live here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I hope everybody's doing good. As for me, I've just been relaxing. Been pretty hot in Texas, but I've just been relaxing here at the house. Not doing too much of investigating as of late. When you go out there he is right here. Bringing in Brother Rezende Gilberto onto the live.
Hello?
How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you, my man?
I am doing good also, brother. Hear that you have experiences over there of encounters of unusual of dogman encounters, or what might be a dogman encounter in Massachusetts.
Yeah, actually, we have our own encounters here. It's in Framingham. It's like about 20 minutes or something from Boston, depending on the traffic.
Yeah.
And we've been living at the property for a long time, like maybe like 15 or more years. And then also we have like family and properties, like farm properties in Brazil, in which our family also had these encounters over there, in some of the places. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's got a lot to tell.
So what do you think that these encounters are? Do you think it might is it something that's like in the flesh, or something that might be like superstitious, like paranormal, like like I don't know in Brazil, but like where I come from, like along the borders, there's a lot of witchcraft and stuff like that. Uh, where they say there's some brujos, or warlocks
Yeah.
that have the abilities to manifest or call upon these demonic beings, that resemble what we know as Bigfoots and Sasquatches. I mean,
Yep.
I want you to share uh, what you're going through right now, and we'll talk more in depth. Share uh, when did it start? All this things happening to you.
Well, to the question, that's been a thing because for me, when I was young and growing up and stuff like that, it's kind of like you hear a lot about that stuff over there. It's in the culture, it's in the environment, and it's kind of like, don't go in the woods, the boogeyman's gonna get you, and all kinds of stories and all kinds of stuff. So for us, it was like it wasn't a scary thing, and it wasn't a thing that we really focused on a lot because it was just kind of in the culture, you
Kind of like
know.
folklore. like
Yeah,
folklore or
exact. But and then
legends,
you
legends. You know, like your grandfather, grandmother would probably
exactly,
tell you. Yeah. Well,
exactly.
what's one of the things that was over there in Brazil? Was it called La Soyona or something like that?
Lobisomem.
Lopizomi. What is a
Exactly.
lopizomi?
So lobisomem is a werewolf
There we
type
go.
creature. Over there in Brazil, we're not really familiar with the dog man. And only after I started researching about this stuff, because like I said, the only reason I got into researching was after I was here. I came here when I was 5, and I've been here since I'm 30 now. Um, but only recently have I been delving into these things, especially because of the sightings over here. So in Brazil, I never thought about it, but you always used to hear about it, and the thing is that over there we don't hear about dogmen. We hear about men who turn into werewolves, like your werewolf story. So like you said, brujeria, we have the witchcraft brujeria over there, and
Yeah.
a lot of stuff like that, hoodoo, voodoo, all that kind of stuff. And so over there, what they perceive it to be is usually a person. They usually live around the area, and they do certain things to turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of like their soul is already sold to the devil, so they have those abilities to be able to shapeshift. I guess you could say.
Yeah, and also the interesting thing is, you hear a lot of stories about like being rivalries, just the same way that you hear about the skinwalker kind of
Yeah.
thing over here. There's rivalries over there. So a guy wants to take your land, somebody wants your wife, somebody wants something from you, and then he'll turn to that witchcraft kind of situation to turn into that being and go harass you at your house and
Yeah. They
potentially
were
try to kill you. Yeah.
kind of like they get someone to go, like you get spirit. Somebody spiritually marks you, so when they conjure something, they conjure this demonic beings to come after you.
But
I
then
guess they
what
promise
they
them
do,
something, right? But if they can get that, then it goes back to them. It's kind of like I guess in Spanish call a maldad, somebody trying to send something bad towards you. But if you protect yourself with the love foundation, it'll go right back to the sender. It won't be able to affect you.
yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because it's like in Brazil, the culture is that like it's not really a spirit. It's like the person physically transforms. And but the thing is that curse, that they put on themselves, to curse to be able to have that ability and stuff, like it hurts them as well, because the transformation is painful. You can't stop it, and then it's like, and it's horrible, because let's say, even if you get the land, or you kill the guy, and then you're able to buy his land later, but you're still now stuck with transforming into this thing all the time.
Yeah,
So it is a curse both ways. So it's kind of like you're kamikaze. You're sacrificing your own livelihood just to mess this guy over.
yeah. It's kind of like here in Texas and in Mexico. I think they're called the Nagual. Which is kind of like a somebody that deal with necromancy and witchcraft, but they done sold their soul. So that's part of their deal is to be able to shapeshift. And you've seen it through the natives, also throughout the United States,
The
where
skinwalkers and stuff
where
like
they
that.
would say where a Bigfoot was actually a demon that was promising him uh, necromancy and witchcraft to be able to have the ability to shapeshift. So that's where the skinwalkers come from. Some of the shamans meddle with that. I'm more sure they have a certain name for those people that they took the deal. And I know that exists within the Mexican culture where the witches, the warlocks, the people that don't sold their souls. Literally this demonic being came in the form of a man or a woman, whatever manifestation it took, and offered them something. And I know that that exists because I've seen it happen within my bloodline with my grandmother.
Yeah.
So I've seen that supposedly this band that came for her. Is like I remember I was like probably like 10, and there was a knocking on her door on a Sunday, and it was this band, and they might speak to the lady of the house. So my grandmother was already like 89. She was old, so she come and she like backed up, took like 3 steps backwards, and it's like she let him in, and she had make this Spanish dish called capirutada, and she had given me a bowl, and she put up the whole bowl that she made. It was a lot in front of him, so he just started eating it like without a spoon, just with his face. He put his face in it, man, and he was eating it like a dog. Just you could hear him making these weird noises, and I could see the bottom of his leg. He was like kicking, kicking to the side, and I could see gnats. I remember crawling underneath there, and I could see all the gnats that were by his leg, and I lifted his pant leg, and I could see the what seemed to be fur like of a goat or a donkey, and he freaking kicked me, and I came out of the from underneath the table, and he got up, and he's telling me that it was her time to go. He was telling her, "It's your time. It's your time now. Yeah, I'm taking you." So it's kind of like she said, "No, no. Then if I don't take you, I'm gonna take him." And he pointed at me, and he was like, "He's strong." And then she said, "No." And then he told her, "Well, if I don't take him, then who?" And she said my uncle's name, right? So the next thing you know, he said, "I'll be back in a year." He took off. He left, and I followed him, and they were telling me not to follow him. So I followed him, and he just disappeared in thin air, man. Like up the street, he took a left, and I seen him, and then he just faded, disappeared right in the middle of the street. So I knew it was something demonic. He was making this growl of like an animal. The way he was eating the capirutada. Like a dog. And then I seen the donkey leg or goat leg, whatever you want to call it. Um, After that,
Like hooves, right?
couple like hoops, yeah. After that, you know, what started happening, my uncle, the name she said her son's name, which was my uncle, shit started happening at his house where you could hear him, could see him when he would come, and you could hear the hoofs when he stepped in on the porch, and I recognized how the figure looked.
Yep.
So he's making the hoof sounds on the porch, and then next thing you know, my uncle starts getting demonized. He starts getting possessed by an unseen force, which we had to pray for him a lot of times. It's kind of like he was being possessed, and he was acting like a chicken, like a rooster, and we had to pray. And I remember when we were praying that there's something dark came out of his body, flew out of his body, and he flew out the window. As he flew out the window, it ripped the screen out. It was like a
Yeah.
black, like a shadow, and he ripped the freaking window out. And my uncle became better, but he went through a lot. But that's
Yeah,
what
and the
happened.
thing
That's what.
the thing is that like it's when he was asking so my background, I'm a ceremonial Solomonic magician, right?
Yeah,
And what we do is that we conjure spirits through certain means, and we bind them. So we bind
yeah,
evil spirits, and then we call upon angels to help us with that, and the Lord and God and everything. And I know a lot about all kinds of cultures, all kinds of things. I have a whole library here. I read day and night. I'm an avid reader. Usually when that happens, it's very classic, because what happens is that when these entities come, they like, for example, when he asks, he's like, okay, I'll take you or I'll take him,
yes,
or give me the name of somebody. So usually, because you guys have the same blood flowing through your veins, you're in the same family,
yes,
it's kind of like you have this link,
yeah.
right?
Generational,
So,
like a generational curse,
exactly.
because
So he
because
can
of what the
they
deal
can
she
just go
made.
down the line,
Yeah,
man, and then they just and then also the reason that he wanted, so if you notice, like, he didn't just come in and take, he asked for
Yeah,
it. So what did he want? He either needed her to do it. He needed her to do it voluntarily. So either volunteer herself voluntarily, or volunteer somebody else. So kind of giving permission to say
yeah,
go there and
yeah.
grab the person. So that's where he gets in. You know, and then if she wouldn't have said anything or any names, it's not her fault, because if you think about it, he wouldn't have stopped hounding her as well. He would have kept on top of her nonstop until he got a name, or until she gave in, or until
Yeah.
something like that happened, unless she had like a third party, like you guys did, come in, pray, take that thing away. And and these things, they seem just like this in the usually like werewolves in Brazil, and in a lot of these places you feel in the Skinwalker, for example, there's this recurring theme of it being physical but also
Spiritual. Yeah,
spiritual.
yeah.
It's like a mixture, because this thing it's there, like, it's making footprints,
I
it's
don't.
it's
I got
eating.
that cousin Irene watching. I don't, cousin. Go ahead, brother.
It's eating, and it's feeding, it's killing, I mean, you hear the knocks on door, the
Oh
scratches, you
yeah,
can but the thing is that you mentioned also about the disappearing, for example, happens over here too. For example, my friends, like, there was my cousin, when we were little, the woods behind here, I we have big, like, lights on it, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then like behind the woods, like, almost kind of, because it's like it makes like kind of a U shape. So all the neighbors have these lights, so it kind of gives like a backdrop of lights to the woods,
Yes.
you know so you can't if you come close enough, you can see what it is. But if you're a little bit farther away, especially if there's moonlight and stuff like that, then you can see kind of just the shadow, just to make the figure of what it
The
is.
silhouette. Yes.
Yeah, the silhouette, exactly. So it happened that my cousin, he was walking. He used to cut through the woods, or else he would have to go like a huge way around to get to my house. So he would always just cut through the woods. We knew it back like the palm of our hand. And he's cutting through the woods, and I'm talking to him on the phone. All of a sudden, I see this huge, strong figure. He was always big. He was always a big guy.
Yes.
So, like, I was like, "Hey, I see you trying to sneak up on me." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And then I just see this figure walking around, and I see the silhouette of it and the way that it looked, and I'm just like, "What the? Wait, that's not you? Wait, that isn't you?" And I'm just looking at it, and this thing's moving around. And when he walked up to where I could see him in the lights, the silhouette just disappeared. But I had my eyes fixed on it, like it seems like it just. And then also my
They're real
friend the
fast,
other day,
man. They're those when they're in shadow form, or should I say spirit form, they're fast, man. They're super fast.
man,
I've
it's
caught
a
them during the
dart.
day. Yeah, they move fast. Like people don't understand how fast they are. They're,
Hmm.
they're faster than they're faster than any animal they think is fast. That's super. Like they're in spirit form, so they move like super fast,
Cheetah's
man.
got
Like
nothing
wind. Or,
on this.
yeah, they move very fast. I got it on video where one is there during the day and he just hauls, man. Like it's moving like in hyper speed, like in phases,
And
coming
it's not
straight
even
on.
like one thing, I don't know if you noticed. It's not like a running, like a man running.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like a gallop. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like but extremely, like the gallops are huge. You
Yeah,
know, it's like, you know what it reminds me of? It's kind of reminds me of a person ice skating.
yeah,
You ever
yeah,
seen a person ice skating mad fast?
yeah.
And it's like they're sliding across the ice. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of he's just sliding across the lane. It's so fast, and the length that they can jump. I mean, the other day, my cousin doesn't come here anymore because of all the stuff he's seen. My friend also doesn't come here anymore because a couple months ago he was here. We were outside, we're outside, doing our thing and talking and looking at the sky and
Good morning,
uh,
Sister Katie. Go
uh,
ahead, brother. I was
oh
saying
yeah.
good morning to Sister Katie.
Oh,
She's
good morning,
from the other side
Sister
of the
Katie.
world. Yes.
And then he was outside and I'm talking to him, and when somebody's face just goes like just blank, like just what? Like the eyes get
Yeah.
big and the person's just there. And I'm like, what? Because I was facing like backwards to what he was looking at. So I'm like, should I turn it around? What is why are you making that face? You know what I mean? And you don't want to turn around. He's like, there's just this thing standing there. And
Uh
I
huh.
I slowly look around, and this thing, it did that effect of it's there, it looks, it's like kind of, it tells you something, like, you can kind of, it's like a telepathic something like that, like
Kind of
it
like it can
tells
read
you
your mind. He knows.
something
It knows. It knows. It talks to you. It's like it shows you an image of something. Talks
through
to you
its eyes,
telepathically.
through its eyes,
Yeah.
like, what it's saying. I don't know if there's words for that. How do you explain, like, you just told me something that I could convey in
It's
words
more
through
like
your
showing you some.
eyes?
It shows you an image, and within the image, it's trying to show. Sometimes they have the ability to make your spirit flip inside upside down. So to you, when it's happening to you, it feels like you're gonna pass out. But it's like the magnetic energy, or should I say the energy irradiates. That's what it causes, and it can drain your energy too. Not just your energy, but the energy of your equipment. Like your cell phone or camcorder, whatever equipment you have, it can drain the battery and at times blow the batteries up. Because they don't want to be caught on video, and they don't want to be caught on the recordings. So it tries to eliminate everything. That so it won't. It's trying to hide. But that's what it does.
That's why it gets blurry when
Yeah.
sometimes you're just like there and you try to film it and you
People
try to do
don't
all the stuff.
Yeah, people don't understand that that's what they do. They cause the electric energy that they possess. It causes disturbance in your feed, on your live feed, not just on that, but on you. It when it starts getting too hot and heavy, man, it's like I start going to prayer. I'll go into prayer, say the Our Father. I'll rebuke it if I have to, especially if it's getting out of control where there's a lot of them around me. Uh, because they're saying things, talking to somebody voices, but there's movement. So I'll go into prayer, because that's what we're supposed to do. Because it's kind of like when they come in numbers, they're letting you know, they're coming for you, and spiritually they want to attack you spiritually. So that's when you have to go into prayer, maintain your love foundation. People don't understand that when you fight something spiritually, it has to be done spiritually. You can't use nothing physically. You try to use something physically, you're just going to use whatever you're trying to use against you. It's got to be done spiritually in order to fight this
Yeah.
unseen. That's the only way.
It's kind of because a lot of people, they go like, okay, there's this spiritual side of it, and these creatures are like this demon and ghost thing, and I don't understand. It's like what I believe personally by my interactions, by my studies, by everything that I know in my own practice and all that stuff. I I believe that they have another dimension,
Yeah.
the same way that we are souls and let's say, like, use the example of us having spirits or souls, right? That we're spirits or souls and we embody
With
our
there,
bodies
there's
for a
the
certain time.
the heaven
You
realm
know,
and the hell realm. You know,
yeah,
in the hell
there's
realm. Yeah,
there's something else. There's another dimension or realm or whatever it is one wants to call it. But we are part there, part here,
yeah,
right? If one believes in that situation. um we're part there, we're part here, so we have our spirit, our souls, and we have our physical bodies, right? Kind of like if you have a car, you're not the car, but you and the car work together when you get in it to, get to your destination. So it's kind of like what our souls do to this physical body, if one believes it. And I believe that they are the same way, because the I don't believe that the body is the soul. The
yeah.
body's just the car.
It's
So
just
the
a
same
vessel.
way that
Yeah,
the dog man or werewolf or whatever it is, it's like it becomes physical, but where it originates from is not physical.
yeah,
So it's the same thing as us. It's a mixture between one and the other. You know what I mean? That's why you can see these feats. That's why sometimes people can make rituals to embody this spirit in them and allow to use their body as a vessel to transform and take action with it or for it or whatever. And then also sometimes you just see these spirits floating around just the same way that people see
yeah.
ghosts,
So
and they can interact with us. So it's for me, it's both. It's both
yeah,
those
I
things.
try to tell people that they've been here for a long time. You know, have you ever heard about the Nephilim? How they got
Mm-hmm.
created by the Watchers? You know, when they slept with women.
Yeah.
You know, they created the Nephilim, and the Nephilim, you know, they started destroying mankind. They started eating everything because you know they wasn't created by God. They were created by the Watchers, which was affiliated with Lucifer, in which they became demons. So the Watchers were running havoc, destroying everything on Earth, and that's why God created the flood, destroy the Nephilim. So during Noah's flood, they got destroyed, right? In which they became disembodied Nephilim, which means they're in spirit, but they're still demonic because the Watchers were demonic, you know, which was the ones that created them. So their punishment was to roam Earth in disembodied form. You know, when we talk about the Legion, you know, that's another one. The Legion is the Legion of the armies, you know, the demons. But the the DDN, they still have demonic abilities, you know, to be able to manifest into any beastly form, you know, and that's what we're seeing out here, you know. That's what I try to tell people, and they're not alone, you know. They're a demonic descent, so what's with them around them too? And you got the Legion and everything, all the other demons that run in packs with them. Uh, if you notice in some of the pictures, like I placed a lot of pictures where they're just watching from the wood line, you know, just looking. Well, that's what the Watchers were here for at the beginning of time, was to watch over mankind, you know.
That's
So
that
it's
what
kind of
you
like that's
just
what they
said
do,
right there.
you know.
I'm so sorry to cut you off,
Yeah,
but what you said right there is actually very, very interesting, because I was actually gonna mention that, and I just forgot about it. You just mentioned it. I it seems that, like, we're so used to Hollywood werewolf movies
yeah,
that these creatures are just, you see one, he chases you down, he takes you, he bites you, or he kills you, whatever it is. But a lot of the times that I don't understand why. A lot of the times they're just there looking at you. Like
I know why. I know where they're looking.
they
I know
don't
why.
they don't they don't chase you, they don't bite you, they don't growl, they nothing. They're just standing there just looking, and then they just watch. They just watch and watch and watch and watch. You feel no fear from them. You feel no nothing. They're just
You know what they're
sitting there
doing, right?
watching.
What they're doing, they're distracting you. They're showing them, so they're trying to distract you from what they're trying to do. But when they manifest, they can only manifest. There's some they can only manifest temporarily
Hmm.
for maybe 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or maybe up to a minute. You know, depends how strong they are spiritually.
And the
Uh,
person
yeah,
can't
but
keep the
the DDN,
transformation going
yeah,
forever.
the DDN can only take form for so long, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
You
when they're
got to
looking
turn
at
back
you,
eventually.
you know what they're looking at you, what they're trying to do, because they're not alone. They're always traveling in numbers. So there's other ones that are flanking you from all
Yeah,
directions, and what
they're
they're trying
pack
to do,
animals, definitely.
yeah, what they're trying to do is this: they're trying to spiritually attack you. You know, when you hear about missing 401 cases and you hear people that commit suicide, well, guess what's behind that? It's the DDN causing that. So, like me, I always talk about always maintain the love foundation. You know, that forgive because forgiveness is part of love. And when you close those negative attachments, the generational curses cannot follow you. And at the same time, the Heavenly Father blesses you with a spiritual gift of discernment, in which with those spiritual gift of discernment, you're able to sense when there's something bad around you. You're able to see it, hear it, feel it spiritually, and that's what I use. So when I'm out there, I'm hearing them, I'm seeing things at times when they take a manifestation that might last for about a good. I think the longest manifestation I've seen one time when he took a form of the werewolf or lycanthrope, there was a good I would say 2 3 minutes, man, and it was two of them, and we chased it down. But they have the capabilities of breaking branches, breaking trees, making noise when they're
Yeah,
here in the manifestation.
yeah.
But once they're gone, they like you said, they go into their other dimension or through a portal where they go in disembodied form.
So
You know.
so like I told you, I'm a ceremonial Solomonic magician,
Yes.
it's and stuff like that. So what our understanding is, for example, when we conjure up, I don't know if you ever heard about like the Book of Solomon and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And like Solomonic, kind of ceremonial magic. It's Christian. That's what we do. So what happens is that what our understanding is that what happens to a spiritual entity, the way that they feel when they're gonna do something physical is like, how when you go into like water, the ocean or a pool or a river or whatever, you need like if you want to stay there for extended periods of time, it would be cool if you had like a suit
Yeah.
or like kind of like a tank or something, you know what I mean, so you can breathe, and just stay down there and stuff. So they kind of need the same thing. They can't be physical forever, or the physicality of it cannot be inside forever. Like you eventually have to turn back,
Yeah.
you know.
It's kind of like, but they do have the abilities of jumping from person to
It,
person.
it
Uh,
it's like being in the ocean,
yeah, using it
so
like a
there's certain things that like a diving suit or something, an oxygen tank will help you be there. And these diving suits and oxygen tanks are the rituals, are the transformation, are the borrowing of the body, using it as a suit to maybe turn into a creature like that, if that is something that is happening. But regardless, spirits, even for them to move stuff and break stuff and all that stuff, it's like they need fuel they need a way to be protected. It's the same thing as diving in the middle of the ocean. You need like things, you know. So these things are, you know, acceptance, or given into the body, or maybe appearing physically, or, you know, scratching stuff, or making indentions in the snow and walking, you know. And just like you said, it's like they got like 2 minutes. They got like 2 minutes because it's rough. They
That's
can't
why
be there forever.
you hear within the crypto community where whether it's a Bigfoot or Dogman, where they say that they're shooting at them or they're chasing them, and all of a sudden they disappear or they go through a tree, you know, and then they try to say that well they're connected to UFOs, you know, just to continue to keep the legend of the Bigfoot to be real in the flesh, or the legend of a Dogman to be real in the flesh. But in the spiritual aspect, if people, you know, for the viewers or whoever listens to this video we're talking about, the angel of light. When you talk about UFOs, well, you got who was the angel of light? Lucifer, and he has those capabilities to make it look like it's like a UFO, you know, and people are believing.
Yeah.
But what happens? You know, you have the belief factor, the belief factors. You get the belief factor of people believing in a UFO. You got the belief factor of people believing in cryptids. But if it's the demonic forces in disguise doing this, what is happening is is through the belief factor, right? Some people are scared through the fear factor. You got the belief factor, the fear factor. Uh, those are spiritual openings that they use. That they could turn into a leprechaun for, and they start believing that it's a leprechaun. Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, hey, I got this one. One could turn into a fairy. You hear about people talking about goat men, you know, and all kinds of things. They have those capabilities to manifest into many things, just like that man manifested to look like that the demonic being manifested to look into a man that came visit my grandma. They have those capabilities. So if you're giving it power through fear and belief in it,
Or
well,
also there was that man,
yeah,
or also there was that man who let his body be used by this being
yes,
that he called, you know what I mean, this thought form, this thing, you
especially
know
if
what I mean, and
they
let
have
that
a
into
deal,
him, and
yeah,
now this
spiritual
thing
deal
is.
with them, or they done sold their soul, so they can use them as a vessel. So that's what
And
they do.
selling your soul, I think that's a very important part also, is that it's not like a big horn guy comes and then you sign a contract. It's about you sell, like when you say a person sells themselves, let's, like, you know, just to simplify it,
Yeah,
not even sell your soul. Like if you sell yourself, you what do? You sell your values. You sell what is holy, what is righteous, what is good. You know
exactly.
what I mean? You sell something that is precious, which is, you know, like having that life, just being holy and good, and a protector, and you know what I mean, and doing things that you know that are not, you don't, it's not even that society dictates what what, you know what I mean, like, oh, I heard that this is not good, so I'm not gonna do it. No,
Yeah,
it's when I am gonna go do something and I feel nasty inside, I don't need nobody to tell me, like, I don't feel good doing this,
yeah.
like, you know, I don't feel comfortable, I don't feel right, this doesn't feel, I feel dirty doing this, you know. So when you do that, and that's most of the way that most people sell their souls, is selling what's right, what is courageous, what is good, what is honorable, you know, what is sweet, what is beautiful, what is right, you know, and that kind of stuff. So you sell that
Imagine,
good part of
imagine
yourself,
this,
and then
brother,
you're going.
brother. Imagine this, brother. How, Gilberto? How many? Imagine how many people have been deceived by this demonic forces, DDNs, to make them think to believe into a Bigfoot, a dogman, or any other kind of cryptid or mythological creatures. They've been deceived and they believed in them because they might have seen, they showed them a manifestation of one of them and they believe that it's real. And they have an attachment because of that, because it uses, when they believed in it, they gave it power. It's kind of like a vampire or a succubus or incubus. If you don't invite them in your house, they can come in your house. But if you when they say you got to invite me in, it's kind of like, well, come on in, right? So if they go in uninvited through invitation, start running havoc, like throughout your household. That's why it's very important for cleansing, right? Whether we have to cleanse our house, place 70 crosses on the doorways and the windows,
And
and
your
clean.
household is not only is sorry
Yeah,
to your household also is not only the place that you live in,
yeah,
literally your
yeah,
house.
yourself,
It's your
self
soul
also.
and your mind.
Yes,
Your mind, your body. This is your household. That's why they say it's your temple.
your temple is
This is your
within
temple.
you. Our temple is within us.
Exactly.
Yes. When when I got surrounded by the six, what happened to me is there was already activity happening, and there was one evening, like around 3 in the morning, my sister wakes me up. We lived in a mobile home park, and she's telling me, "Abe, it's cold outside. So there's a woman yelling for help." So I'll go out there, and I hear the woman yelling for help.
Wait. Could I just
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes I cut off is because like the reason I do it is because like I'll forget to ask you this later.
go ahead, brother.
So like this woman, the craziest thing was I was so afraid I was always worried to speak about this in general,
Yeah,
and because I don't want anybody to think I'm crazy, and I'm not crazy.
no, you're
And
not crazy, bro.
a
That's why I
lot of the
created the
times
site.
we think we crazy because we go like, there's no way, that this is real. There's no way that I saw this. There's no way this thing doesn't exist. There's no way. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but one thing that I told my mom one day also when we were talking about this, I was like, crazy people don't realize that they're crazy. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if a person is like a serial killer or something like that, he
yeah,
doesn't think that he's doing anything wrong. So if you have the thought to be like, hey, am I crazy? A thought of analyzing, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, kind of just really analyzing your life and being like, hey, man, is this crazy? Is this crazy? Then you're probably not crazy, you know.
I
But
think it's
going
within us.
back to it, I one day I told her, I'm like, Mom, um, I have to talk to you about something. She's like, what? I'm like, I gotta take you outside. So we went outside, and she's like, oh, I know what you're gonna show me. And then I'm like, you seen that? You seen it? She's like, yep, yep. She's like, have you heard the lady call for help in the woods? I'm like, yep. Mm-hmm. And then she goes like, tell me something. It's like a soft help. It's like a help, help. Very soft. It's not like a
Yeah,
screeching like a serial killer trying to kill or something. It's like a very very soft. Just help, help,
yeah,
help me, help me, and it's kind of distorted. It's weird. So we would go in. She would when she would hear it, she would go in. And then when I would hear it, I would go in at different times. And then we also would go in together into the woods because eventually we were like, well, there's this fucking woman outside screaming for help deep in the fucking
yeah.
woods. It's the middle of winter. Something maybe is happening. But it kept happening all the time. and it always just the tracks and the marks and the screams only start happening towards like the end of winter,
Yeah.
like, you know, and then it goes away all year, but then it comes back. It's
Yeah.
always but it's always a help. It's help,
The
help
Massachusetts, that's in
me.
Maryland, right? Maryland, Massachusetts,
Huh?
Massachusetts. That's where they used to have those the witch trials and all that down
Yeah,
there.
I'm 1 hour from Salem.
Yeah. So maybe what you're hearing could be that of somebody that got either killed within a cult, or possibly a witch, that might have gotten murdered out there, in those times, that you might be hearing the disembodied voice, or, if it's demonic, it has the
Nah, but it's
capability.
always around
Yeah,
the
yeah,
tracks.
yeah,
It's always around the tracks. The tracks are the weirdest thing because they're bigger than my hands. I'm a big guy. I got big hands. Like I'm a big guy. Like I'm not fat. Like I'm just I'm tall. I got strong hands. I've been fighting since I was 6 years old.
yeah.
Like I got been working in construction and stuff and all kinds of stuff as well. I got big hands. I mean, we got a Yorkshire here, and
Yeah.
it's a sealed fence, and I got these tracks that are bigger than my hand, and they're not only long but wide.
So
And
when you entered there to search, did you find anything? What did your I've seen the footprints, but did you go at nighttime when she was yelling for help, or was she was yelling for help during the day?
it's like
Oh,
nighttime. It's
oh,
like it's not really late. It's like I would say usually around like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that. Like it's dark.
yeah.
Like it'll be dark. Because like here, for example, in this time frame, it'll get dark only till only like it'll start getting dark only till about 10 o'clock around there.
Yeah,
Like until like 8 o'clock, 8:30, it's still light outside,
I
you
see.
know.
Because the
So
time
so
change.
you it's usually, yeah, when it gets dark, so around like 10, yeah, like 9:30, something like that. So in between there.
So the activity remains in the woods. It never comes to your house.
No, no, those tracks were right at my door. It's all around my house.
Or
It
around your
paces
house.
back and forth. I even have more
Do
photos.
you
I
have like
just didn't post.
do you hear like scratching sounds,
Yeah,
tapping sounds,
yeah, I hear,
pounding
and then
sounds on the
also
wall, like,
it
or
tries to
sometimes
pull
something
my
running on top of the roof?
it tries to pull. So this is I'm gonna see if I can show you. So here, oh, and it's a good exercise that I can even. I should actually do this because of what happened.
What you
I'm
can do,
trying.
brother, what you can do, whatever you want to share after we do the video, you can share it in the group so people can see what you're talking about, pictures
Yeah,
or
yeah. I'm trying to put on my camera
yeah, yeah.
so we can. I just don't know how to put it on. Wait, I'm trying to. How do I put on the camera?
I just see your profile picture.
Yeah,
I put you to come on the camera, but
I'm trying to see how I put it on.
it not.
So
We just
basically,
continue like this for right now, and maybe when we
so
figure it out, we
so
can do another
basically,
live.
I have this door that you're hearing right now, and
Mm-hmm.
then I walk outside, and I have this metal door that you're gonna hear right now that I should probably close. Um, and it goes outside. I live in the basement part,
Yeah,
and if you can hear that noise, this here,
yeah.
this is what I hear during this time period. It pulls at the door. It pulls at
I
the
see.
door, and it just and it just you just I don't know. It just seems weird. It just keeps pulling and
Yeah,
pulling, and it
because
pulls up.
he wants you to go out there, man. He wants you to go out there into the woods. He's trying to lure you into the woods. That's what he's trying to do. Uh, because he wants you to
So
believe.
what one of the funny things too is that like I'll go there, and when I hear that pulling and all that stuff, um, I'll yell out like because I'm like, hey, maybe it's just like a guy trying to steal a house or something
Yeah,
like that. So I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna call the cops. Calling the cops right now. And it doesn't. It does that like for like half an hour, and it just doof, 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 doof,
you
and it
should try
pulls.
to put like a camera there, man. Set up a camera to see what you cash. You know, if you cash anything, if it's cash something within the camera.
The crazy part was the other night, because we have like a um uh two family home.
Yeah,
So I live downstairs, they live upstairs. So I called my mother. It was like around 4 o'clock in the morning or something. And I'm like, hey, look out your bathroom window. So she looked out the window and there was nothing there. It's just like that thing. It just disappears. I don't know what it does. It just jumps. I don't know if it jumps or if it disappears or whatever it is. It just
in spirit form. It has many capabilities. It uses Mother Nature itself uses elements to manifest, whether it's in vapor form and dirt form and smoke form, and they can use it could be in the form of leaves, in the form of a tree. It can manifest it's kind of like what people call a elemental. He has those
yeah.
capabilities.
An elemental, yeah.
He's got those
It
capabilities.
happened to like I was telling you, also in Brazil in the farm. So we have like a pretty big farm area over there, and we're right at the like countryside. You know what I mean? Like it's just farms everywhere. You don't find civilization over there, just farms. And everybody knows each other. You know what I mean? How farm communities are. Everybody knows each other. Everybody helps each other, and the whole community is like that. And there was stories. There was my grandfather. He was over there at the farm, and all of a sudden he's hearing these same noises, these same things. The metal rattling
Yeah,
is a funny thing to me because in Brazil, because there's a lot of the times, people who have bad intentions, they're gonna go to farmlands and try to, break into houses, rob stuff or something like that.
yeah,
So we have like metal everywhere and gates, and even the windows have like uma grade,
yeah.
like it's you know what I mean?
So nobody will break in.
Yeah, so nobody will break in, exactly, because they bring guns. You know what I mean? At least you can hide in the bathroom. They can't shoot you there.
Yeah, yeah,
so, um, so we have that, and he would also hear rattling, and also messing with his animals. You know what I mean? So he would go outside with a shotgun, and he would go after the animals, and he'd see this big creature, huge creature. The same. We all know the description.
yeah,
It's a werewolf description. It's
yeah.
huge. This motherfucker's black. He's got the mane. He's got the fucking snout. He's got everything. We all know the description. So,
But they
so
they shoot at it and they can't kill it.
yeah, he shoots at it. He hits it a couple of times, but that's the funny thing. That's what
No blood, no
keeps me.
nothing.
but what keeps me half and half in between, like that they're spiritual and physical at the same time, because he had fur on the fence.
Yeah,
So where it just, because it's barbed wire fence over there where we have, it's just simple fence. You just, put a pole inside, come in, barbed wire it, put the next pole and barbed wire it again. And
you
when
figure
it,
that if it was like a werewolf, right? The, the so many
exactly, like
hunters
a
so
werewolf
many
creature,
hunters are
exactly.
that they'll have like a silver bullet by now, right? To try to attempt to kill it with a silver bullet, but
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think the silver bullet thing is, I think that those kinds of stuff is what it is. I don't believe so much in that. I
yeah,
believe, because he hit it and it was like he had blood, the trail of blood,
yeah,
and where when the thing crossed through the fence, because he was popping shots off at it, and where it crossed the fence, it got stuck there, like the matted hair
yeah,
got stuck there. It was like black matted hair, and it was this creature, like it was upright. It was in the chicken coop, which is so funny because when my mother told me this story, after we were because my mother also seen the creature here and also experience her experiences, and I finally talked to her about it. We started sharing stories, and then she was sharing me the story about our grandfather, and she was saying that this dude was in the chicken coop and he just started popping off shots, just popping off shots. It hit it, but it's like it wasn't phased by it. Like it didn't, like, like how many times do I have to hit this thing for it to go down?
yeah,
It doesn't fucking go down. And then, but like it seems to disappear, but at the same time, it left a blood trail and it left fur on the
yeah.
fence, the barbed wire fence.
Because they're here and their manifestation that can only be like that. I've seen it. I've seen it, brother, where uh, there was one evening there I heard all kinds of noises out in the yard. When I was growing up, we could hear lions, bears, we could hear noises of horses and cows and all kinds of animals, pigs. And my mom was praying, and she said that the Guatemala, the devil was there, demons were there, and for all night, man, you could hear nothing but those kind of noises, plus
It's
noises
like
of
the
whips.
boogeyman,
Oh,
right? The boogeyman down there.
there's different noises were happening at once, like from different animals. And there was no way we were in a four lots, and our lots were with a fence all the way around, and they're chained up. So there's no way that many animals are going to go into our house when we lived within the city. So the following day, when we wake up, guess what's in the yard? There's all kinds of crap, man, in the front yard, in the backyard. Our grandmother used to live beside us. So me and my brother, we spent all day on a Saturday. It happened on a Friday. On Saturday, we shoveled shit all day, man. On
Oh,
a wheelbarrow, right? We took the crap.
holy
And
crap, man!
we had a pile of crap in the alley. I mean, it left residue of crap, and the crabs were of different animals, and there's no way that could happen, right? So our grandmother made us tie up the fences with chains, and we put boards underneath the fence, and she was trying to BS us, trying to say that it was just probably a dog. As a grandma, I never seen a dog crap so many different sizes of crap. So I know she was lying to me. So that evening, the same thing happened. Nighttime came, we started hearing all these different kind of noises and of animals, lions and horses and cows, and I mean it was like a constant like noises. My mom was praying, we were praying. When the sun rose, we went outside. Guess what? Crap everywhere again. So we had to shovel up the crap. When people talk about that they have evidence of Bigfoot's crap. Well, there was evidence of a lot of crap, but there was no bodies. So they're capable of leaving residue behind. pestilence, which is crap. Like you said, you might have found that trace of blood. That, but that's because of the manifestation they take. They're going to leave something behind. And I believe that's why it left the fur that you say you see some fur or whatever. But that's part of the manifestation of the form it took. And just like he leaves that, he can leave urine also. Like you said, here temporarily, so it can piss on your front door, piss on your vehicles, and you're gonna smell a strong scent of something nasty. Like because of the urine is gonna smell nasty. Sometimes it leaves traces of like blood when he's marking his territory. Stuff like that. Like. But that's what I run into, what I ran into, what I witnessed. That he has many capabilities, and if he can leave crap behind, then he can break a branch, he can climb a tree, he can open your door, he can do all those things. It's got many capabilities that people underestimate it. And they have to be not just spiritual ready, physical ready too, man, because they can attack. They can attack you. Imagine getting attacked by something that has the ability to be invisible. And because that's what they are, they're invisible, but they have the capabilities, if you have a spiritual opening, to come and touch you. What I mean by that, they can come and hit you and attack you the way that it happened to me. So that's why I'm saying by experience, where I could hear footsteps running behind me. Next thing you know, I get hit. I fly 4 or 5 feet in the air. I tumble a roll. I get up with my guards up. I'm paramilitary, and I was in the army. So I get up and ready to fight, but there's nobody there. Next thing you know, I hear footsteps come from a different direction. I get hit, and I fly 4 or 5 feet. So I'm getting in a fight with something that's invisible. But what gave it that opening is when it showed me its form, that I started thinking it was something real. When I started thinking it might be a werewolf or a shapeshifter. So it got a little bit of power over me as I started believing it was something real. So then he started attacking me demonically, through its true nature, invisibly. It's not a good feeling, brother. At least when you get in a fight, you say you've been fighting for a long time. At least when you get in a fight, you're able to see your opponent and be able to fight back. Self defense or go offensively on them. But when it's attacking you invisibly, then you can't fight it in that nature. I think I lost you, brother. How you doing, brother? I can send you an invite back here. How you doing, brother?
Oh,
Hey,
hey, what's up, brother?
how you doing,
Sorry
brother?
about that. It's because I was trying to figure out how to do the camera thing, and I
Yeah,
think I did something wrong, and it just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
but you
Sorry, I
know,
look so bad, man.
that's all right, man.
I'm on vacation, and also I hurt my ankle, so it's hard to like get dressed and do all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
crutches.
But this other attack, man, I started believing that I saw the werewolf. Like I said, it doesn't matter what manifesting it takes. If you start believing in it, then the spiritual opening is there. So I started literally getting into fights with it spiritually, where I was being attacked spiritually, but invisible by an invisible force. In which, when that happened, I already knew that I was dealing with something demonic because it was a real
So
life
to you,
creature.
it felt like when you were getting attacked spiritually, did it feel like what, like a dream?
Oh, oh
Did it
man,
feel like you were somewhere else
no,
fighting
I'm
a
talking about
battle, and
wide
then
awake.
you were here
No, wide awake.
after, like you woke up?
No, I'm talking about wide awake, like I'm here right now, right? Imagine you're walking, and you hear something running behind you, and then you get hit, like literally hit, and you fly
Like
4 or 5 feet,
punch?
punched, boom, bang, and you
So
feel the
like a
blow.
push, like a hard push,
No,
like
a hit, like a pounding,
oh
boom.
wow.
You fly 4 or 5 in the 4 or 5 feet in the air because that's how hard it hits you. Now I'm a big guy,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
no, it's a big thing though.
and
If you got these things that like,
I go flying four or five
they're
times.
like 9 foot tall,
Yeah,
like bigger than
they're
a
tall.
basketball player.
And I'll
You
fly four or
know,
five
just
feet, stumble and roll, get up with my guards up. There's nothing there to fight. Then next thing you know, I hear the footstep, like something running towards me again, and I get hit on the side. Boom! I go flying 4 or 5 feet. I get up with my guards. So you heard that? I heard something right beside me right now. Something says something. Uh, but but yeah, it's like I don't know how many times I fought. It fought against me, like literally attacked me, man. Like I will go into prayer, said the deliverance prayer. I'll start rebuking in Jesus Christ's name, but I had an opening.
you know what's a
Now, you
good
know what the
one?
opening was, brother?
A good prayer
The opening I
is
had was
prayer
unforgiveness.
to
Yeah,
Saint Michael.
yeah.
This
I
is a
had
good prayer.
unforgiveness. There was this man I had to forgive that I had hatred and vengeance for because when I was 5 years old, he pulled out a machete on me and he said he was going to kill me. I had hatred towards this man, so I had to forgive him. Once I forgave him, all the things that were happening kind of started stop. They stopped, right?
Who
Uh,
was this person?
this person used to be a Vietnam veteran, and he was a policeman.
And
He
what did he do again that you said?
This man, he was sick. His wife was sick with cancer. And I was five. I was in fifth grade. I was 10 years old, and they needed somebody who could cut his grass and clean the corral where he had some goats.
Mm-hmm.
So they volunteered me. I went. My brother didn't want to go. My older brother didn't want to go, so I went, and I said I'll do it myself because that's what I would do, cut people's yards and stuff like that. So I cut his grass, and
I
then I
know
went to
I
go.
can't, my brother.
I could see him, I could see him laying down in his bedroom. So I'm feeding the goats, and clean. I already clean all the poop and everything from the goats. Next thing you know, I hear the gate close. It closes, and then I see the man. He's standing there, and then he locks the gate. He puts the lock on the gate. He grabs the machete from the corner pole,
Mm-hmm.
and he starts swinging it. You can hear where it's going. And he looks at me and he starts laughing at me. I said, "Why are you laughing? I'm here helping you out." So I thought you were sick. And he's laughing at me. And he said that he could kill me right there, that nobody can do nothing about it. So he's coming at me like he's going to, swinging that machete, trying to hit me with it. So I told him I had a message for him. Spiritually, the Heavenly Father speaks to us. And he spoke to me to tell him a message, and the message that I had for him was, if he took another step, that his life on earth was going to be over. So this man tried to take the step forward. He couldn't take a step forward. He tried to lift the machete to swing it at me, and he couldn't do it. So I climbed the fence, and I'm walking away so he can turn and look at me because he's kind of like frozen, like God has full control of him. And I just could hear him say, "Tell your parents what happened here, they're not gonna believe you." I walked all the way home. I let them know what happened. They took me back to the house. He come out of his he comes out of his house, and they start asking him, telling him what happened. And he's like, how kids are. They like to lie a lot. Like he's basically calling him a liar. So this guy was a policeman, right? And one of the things that he said to me when when he was swinging the machete is, because my mom and I used to be in a prayer group. So he was a man where he was being possessed by something. He was always seeing a man on a black horse, all in black, right? So they had prayed for him, and supposedly they got the unclean spirit away from him. But this is what he told me.
You know
He,
that
he,
happened.
he told me he was a Santanista, Satanist,
Geez.
that he deceived all the people that prayed for him, because that's what he believed in. So
Well,
it's kind of like,
actually just sorry, brother, but that's actually a very interesting thing that you just said. Just so we don't forget about it,
yeah,
is that a lot of the times I have heard before for example, when you hear about like shadow figures, for
Yeah,
example, you hear about shadow figures and how there's the man in the black hat,
yeah,
and then there's the, the shadows that you see, everything's black.
kind of
And
like
then also you also hear about
Hellhound.
the man in black.
Yeah,
I forgot what werewolf case this was. I don't know if it was Peter Stubbs case or something like that, but it was the man in black who showed up in a horse and gave him like the the oil. Always it's an ointment
yeah,
with fur in it, or there's like the fur coat, the wrapping. So it's like this thing that you just said is very important about the just the dark
yeah.
man that appears in different kinds of ways.
Manifestations. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but I forgave that guy, and that day that I forgave, I was getting tired of fighting, getting beat up, dude. Like, I was literally getting beat up, where I had bruises, scratches, marks, and now I'm a big guy, and I was getting hit from all directions, probably by many of them, because I don't think it was just one. I got shot up a cliff, like two cliffs. Jumped into a ditch. The one of the cliffs that they shot me up was real tall, and I came tumbling down. It shot me from the back. I was to the back of the cliff was behind me, and I got shoved the wall. And that one I was injured for about 2 3 months, where I tumbled and rolled, and I was bruised up. I couldn't walk for about 2 3 months. But the day that I forgave that guy that I was telling you, they surfaced up in my room. They manifested in my room. It was two of them, and I could see the dark silhouettes, shadow form. And they said they wanted to show me something. So telepathically, it took me to where they come from, telepathically, and where they're come from, I could see like fire. I could see people that were being tortured, where the flesh was coming on and off, and they were telling me they had all of them had individual names, and they said, "Do you want to know our names?" And I said, "No," spiritually. So they're showing me all these things, and next thing you know, I'm back in my room, and they're still there in front of me, right? Because I guess spiritually, I came back to my body. So I'm
But you remember,
and
remember
I'm
when I
looking at
asked
them,
you? Remember one time? You
and
remember
I'm
when I
looking at
asked
them,
you?
and I'm looking at them.
You
This
remember
was the
when
time.
I asked you that if it felt like you went
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
and then you
Well,
woke up and you just
yeah. So
yeah,
so I'm looking at them.
there you
They're
go. You
standing.
go somewhere,
They're
somewhere.
standing in my room, right?
Mhm.
And this is what they tell me. It said, if you don't do what we say, we're coming after your son and your family. But you see, I already knew I had forgiven, and God is a forgiving God, right? That He blesses us. It said, what we want you to do is take your life. If you take your life, we won't mess with your son or your family members. That's what they told me, and this is what I told them. First of all, pray for my family, my son, and my family members, and I know they're protected by the Heavenly Father. And for y'all, I take authority over y'all in Jesus Christ's name. I tie, bind, and rebuke it through Jesus Christ's name. When I did that, boom, they took off real fast. And all the things that were happening to me where I was getting spiritually attacked stopped, because I made a spiritual stance against them. That's when everything stopped. And that's what I
You
try.
know,
That's what
you
crazy
wanna.
to try to tell people. I've been through the battle. I fought them. I overcame them spiritually through Jesus Christ. I made this group so people can understand that you can to be careful not to give power into believing it's a werewolves, uh, lycanthrope, Bigfoot. There's a lot of people that are believing in these cryptids, believing in UFOs and aliens and reptilians. But this DDN, these demonic beings, they have those abilities to manifest into that. You know,
To
I
take any
believe,
form.
yeah, in Chicago, in Chicago, where all they're doing all these killings, they've seen Bigfoot, Dogman, UFOs, and shadow figures in Chicago. And what's happening in Chicago? A lot of people killing each other. Guess who's causing that? This DD and these unclean spirits that I speak of. They have those abilities. They can be go into a person temporarily to possess them or to use them to do something bad. Next thing you know, what do you hear all the time? I don't know what happened. I don't know what made me do it. People don't remember what happened because what happens when you don't remember? As part of a possession, they were being possessed by something.
The suffering and you know what the funny thing is? A lot of the times when we let ourselves be possessed by something, it's like the possession just doesn't do harm for the person and for the person that they may do harm to, but also society looks upon that, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and it creates this anger because it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody is able to do that, and they're evil, everybody's evil, so I'm gonna do whatever I want.
With
I'm gonna be evil. I'm gonna,
your
it just perpetuates it. It's like, because if that's how society is, then I'm gonna be like that too. Because I don't want people to do evil to me. I'm gonna do evil to them before they do it to me.
yeah.
So now,
And who's
you
winning?
know what I mean. It
And
keeps
who's winning?
going.
When people are like that, who's winning? These demonic forces from the yin and the yang. They're the ones that are winning because they're getting people to play their fall right in place.
Yeah,
You see that
yeah,
within our government.
yeah.
When they take
The
God,
thing,
God
the thing that I,
out of the
the thing
picture.
that I think that is like that's very important is like, I was watching the movie The Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings earlier, right? And I saw, like, they have many enemies. So like they have the orcs and the and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. They all look different. They're all in different ways. And they all die different,
yeah,
right? So when I take a look at all these things and think about all these things, like they come from the same source, right? But just like a tree, they spread out. That power, that source, spreads out in different ways, and then for you to be able to end it, there's like there's a different way that you kill an orc to a different way that you kill. But like, for example, let's say you go up to an orc. Maybe its heart is on the right side, not on the left
yeah,
side, right? So if you want to stab its heart, you're trying to stab on the left side, but you know what I mean.
yeah. It's kind of
So I
like
think there's different.
yeah,
There's a different way to deal with different manifestations of this power and end them in a different way. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah,
So I
like I
think
put it to the test.
there's different ways to deal with it.
Spiritually, I put it to the
You know?
test when I've seen the dog man and when I've seen what seemed to be a Bigfoot, because it took its manifestation. I put it to the test. What I did is rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name. When I did that, boom, it vanished. When it vanished, it could smell like sulfur, and pestilence. They left a bad stench behind when it disappeared.
Like
So
wet dog or something.
no, like sulfur and something dead, like a dead smell, like blood with like something like a dead animal.
Ammonia, like decay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pestilence.
yeah.
But it vanished in thin air when I rebuked it in Jesus Christ's name. That's when I started figuring out that what I was facing wasn't really a werewolf, that it was something demonic. When I heard the woman, my sister, to finish the story, I went out there, I grabbed a bat, I went to the park because where I live in the mobile home park, there's a park, and
Oh yeah, the woman you said about the
yeah,
woman yelling for help.
the woman was yelling, "How you doing, cousin Jesse?" Uh, the woman was yelling for help, so I started following the sound for help. So I had a bat in my hand. I didn't have no flashlight, so it was pitch dark. But there's lights within the park. But when I got to the wood line, you could hear the woman yelling for help from in there. So I started following, went into darkening. I
How
was
did
prior
she
military.
sound?
Uh,
How did she sound?
we just kept on saying, help me." But she was
But
like
like
yelling.
loud? Like
Yeah,
was
she
she like
was yelling like,
help? Like
yeah, yeah,
help? Or was she like
yeah.
help?
She was yelling loud like something was happening to her.
Like
So
somebody was stabbing her or something.
somebody was attacking her or something. So
Okay, okay.
I grabbed the bat and I'm yelling and I'm getting close to the sound because the sound is getting louder. So I could hear very close. I'm fixing to swing the bat, and when I'm fixing to swing the bat, because it's right there by me, the sound it stops. You know, the sound stops, and I'm looking in the
Usually when
dark.
you hear it, the
Look,
sound always stops
yeah,
because we're there.
I'm looking, but I don't see nobody, no movement or nothing.
Yeah.
I could look past the creek, and I could see the club, but there was nobody at the club. So I'm looking and I'm looking, but I see nobody. So in my mind, something settles and I say, no, it's three something in the morning. It feels like I lured here into the woods. So
Wait, what? Wait. 1 second. You said what time was it?
it was like around 3 when it happened, and I was in
Could
the
I
woods already for
could
about.
I ask you something? Have you noticed that it's around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Every time. Every time.
So I'm there, and when I turn around, that's my hair's standing up. So my senses are letting me know something's freaking behind me.
Run.
When I turn around, that's when I seen them. The closest one to me was probably like shit, from here to the pole, like probably 5, 6 feet away from me.
Hey, can I ask you
I could
something
see him
as
looking
well?
at
When
me.
you said about the sense, it just sometimes, like for example, because I smoke,
Yeah,
so I go outside and I like to have a smoke, and I like to walk through the woods because I enjoy the woods. I love the woods. Sometimes when I go out there, even before something is seen, I get this feeling. It's just it's just this weird you like just this weird feeling like you shouldn't be here feeling.
yeah,
And it just like but it's like very strong.
yeah.
And I just run inside. Like
It's kind of
and
like,
and I got the same feeling that they remember when I told you that it was shaking the door.
yeah,
I got that feeling that day. I woke up and it was about 3 something in the morning. Look at the time. 3 something in the morning. And I went over there. I got this weird feeling. I because I sometimes because like now it's summer. So I like to because I live in the bottom part.
yeah,
So I like to have like the you got to get some air out,
yeah,
So I leave that door open. 3 something in the morning, I wake up. I go there. I lock the door. When I lock the door, that's when the shaking started
yeah.
and pulling it. You know what I
So,
mean?
so that
You
happened to
you
me.
you seem to get this feeling of like I should not be here right now, even if you don't
Yeah,
see it, even if you
I
don't.
was seeing them, and it was six of them. There was three to the right and three to the left, and the way I knew it was six of them because I could see their silhouette, but what stood out the most were their glowing eyes. They had white glowing eyes looking at me. looking down at me because they were real tall. When I tell
They're
people that,
tall. They're
when I
tall.
tell people they're 9 foot, they were 9 foot tall, they're like, some people don't believe me. Well, they're 9 foot tall looking
They're
at me. The
huge.
one was real close. So when I seen them, right, there was two thoughts: run to the creek behind me, or run to the highway that was to the left of me. But either way, the one close to me would have chased me to the creek. And if I would have gone to the left, the three to my left flank would have chased me towards the highway. So I need to take myself to my inner peace, you know, to stay calm and relaxed because I was in a situation where I didn't know I was going to live or die, right? So I went into prayer.
And
Yeah,
at that point, I think that it's like what people don't understand is that they go like, oh, blah blah blah. They say a lot of stuff, but at that situation, when you're at that point, it's kind of like you expect to die, like you know like I cannot outrun this. I can't outrun this thing.
I had the
This
bat
thing
in
can
my hand,
jump.
brother. I had the
This
bat in
thing
my
can
hand.
run.
I had the
This
bat.
thing is so fast.
I had the bat in my hand, and I looked at it, how big it was. I said, "Man, the bat is like a toothpick. Ain't gonna do nothing to it." You know? So
Look at
I
it.
threw,
Hey, you know what I like to compare it to?
so I
It's
dropped the.
worse. Like, you ever seen those grizzly bear fights? A grizzly bear fight another grizzly bear?
Yeah, I've seen something like.
Man, oh man. It's like a polar bear. It's like a it's huge, but it's way bigger. And also the thing that is very scary about it is that it's smart.
Yeah,
It's as smart as we are.
check it out,
Or
bro.
maybe more.
I dropped the bat, and
We're
I started praying.
fucked.
I
We're
started praying
fucked.
the deliverance prayer, the Our Father. You know, I kept on praying it numerous times till I felt my inner peace. I felt the heavenly angels around me. That it took me, like, I don't know how long I was in there, but it took me a while before I took my first step. And the first step I was going to take was to go back the same way I came in, follow the path, because that was the easiest route for me, you know. So I kind of ignored them, you know, when you make a tunnel vision. So I
Because I don't
ignored
want
them.
to see
So kept on
what's
looking,
this.
yeah, I kept on looking straight, even though I could see them turning their heads, looking at
Mhm.
me. And as I was saying, the Our Father, you know, when you talk about telepathically, there's something that they said that all of them said as I was saying the deliverance prayer. You know what they said when I was saying the Our Father? Every
Yeah.
single one of them, there was six of them. They kept on repeating this: the Holy One, the Holy One, the Holy One. They kept on saying the Holy One as I kept on saying the deliverance prayer, the Our Father. And I kept on saying it, even though I could see them turn their heads. I went through the right in between them,
Really?
and I kept on saying the Our Father out of the trail into the park, all the way home. But they acknowledged the Our Father by saying the Holy One. What what acknowledges Jesus Christ? You know, you remember the Legion knew who Jesus Christ was. They knew that Jesus Christ was the Heavenly Father. They knew that He had the ability, the spiritual powers to cast them out of the possessed man to go into the swine.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes, yes,
but
yes.
they
They
acknowledged
asked Jesus,
the
they're like,
prayer.
if you're going to cast me out, then please. And then they walked out the cliff into the
Yeah.
waters. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's when I knew that they were demonic because when I was saying the Our Father for protection, they acknowledged that and they said the Holy One, the Holy One. So that's when I knew that they were demonic when they acknowledged the Our Father and they said the Holy One, the Holy One. I believe they said the Holy One also because I could feel the presence of the heavenly angels around me. So I had backup through the heavenly angels.
Did you also real quick, when you say that, that's very interesting because have you heard of the I forgot the name exactly because it's in German, but there is this tale about
Yeah,
hmm?
I've seen something. I've been in Germany, man. I've been to Germany when I was 19 years old. That's my first duty station.
No, I mean like
You
so what
talking
they
about?
would do is that they were called the hounds of heaven. So what they would do is that there would be these werewolves in Germany, this tale that they say at least. They would turn into werewolves, go down into Gehenna, which is another word for hell, right? It's a
Mhm.
primary word for hell, at least. And then they would fight witches and demons and stuff like that in their wolf forms, and they would come up
Yeah,
and be human again. You know, they would just take that form to go into hell and literally fight demons and witches and stuff like that. So it's funny how when you said, the Holy One, the Holy One, the Holy One, maybe they were like, yeah, ew, the Holy One, the Holy One, but would say the Holy One because holy, the word means something that's holy, right?
yeah.
Important. So I don't see any demons or anything saying like, holy one, holy one, holy one. Maybe there were something that went, and because you were praying that, they were recognizing that. They were like, yes, he's the holy one. Yes, he's the holy one. Holy
Yeah.
one, holy one, holy one.
But I
You
came
know,
out of there
so
safely,
so
brother.
it's good to see like the
When I
both.
got home, when I got home, my sister was waiting for me on the porch because I had told her if she wanted to go with me. She said no. So when I got home, she's like, she see my face. I was pale. I don't, like I said, I don't know how long I was in there fighting spiritually, but I was there for a while. She see me and she said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" She could see her face was worried. So I walked inside the house. I went into the room and to the restroom, took out my clothes, jumped in the shower, started praying, and for God to bless the water because I knew I encountered something bad out there, right? To bless me with the water and for no negative attachments to attach themselves to me. So I prayed against them, you know. But yeah, but what's messed up is when I send my stories or what happened to me is like you say, then people are gonna think you're crazy. They
Yeah,
might they might think your pictures are crazy, you're
definitely.
crazy, because they haven't been through it. Me, I'm
Yep,
talking
yep.
out of experience of what I've been through, and that's why I created the site Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, is to try to help people understand what they're dealing with. That they're when they go out to the woods, that they're thinking it's a Bigfoot. So we're talking about werewolves in Germany, right? I was at a bar one day, and there was a gypsy woman sitting in the bar, and I bought her a drink, and well, it wasn't a woman. She was young. She was like probably like 20, 21. She looked like a model, And so I was just talking to her, and she was telling me, you know, we started talking. She was telling me about how the gypsies and there was gypsy witches back in the day, and that
Yeah, the gypsies,
there was
they're
werewolf.
very
Yeah,
famous for cursing people with
yeah,
werewolf
yeah,
curses.
werewolf. She was talking to me about werewolves and say, so they closed the bar and I started walking and I was walking with her. We were walking. I was walking back to the billets and she was walking to her house and I said, you mind me walking with you? And so I was gonna go to the billets and she said, you know what? You can come spend the night at my house. It's already late. You can sleep on the sofa. So I go into her house and she had a lot of locks. So she locked all the locks and she went into her room. So I went to lay down on the sofa. Next thing you know, she comes out like she's naked, and she said I could go go sleep with her in her room. But in Germany, their culture, their being naked is normal. So it's not like you think if something sexual is going to happen. That's
I
their
know, I
culture.
know, I know how it is.
So I went over there and I laid down by her, but I had my clothes on. No, no, I was really tired, so I fell asleep. When I wake up, she's not laying by me, and it's still nighttime. I wake up and I look and I hear like a pounding sound, like, and because the floor was wood, so I'm hearing this pounding sound. When I look, she's sitting Indian style, blocking the door. She got a piece of broken glass from, I guess, one of those glasses that you can see yourself, and she was pounding that on the ground, and the floor was all scratched up. Blood was coming out of her hands, but it wasn't the girl. It wasn't the girl that was young. It was a form of an old woman, man.
I know.
So she's in the form of an old woman, and her eyes are rolled back white. You know. So I'm like, get up real slow. I'm walking. I go around her, and she's still hitting the ground hard with a knife. I mean, with a freaking piece of glass. I
She
go
was
around
trying
her.
to evoke a kind of hypnotic trance because for in order for you to do anything that's like ritualistic or spiritual or anything, doesn't matter,
So,
even prayer, it's the singing in the churches, the smells, the
yeah.
words,
So
you know.
I unlocked the door, all the locks, and I'm looking to my back to make sure she don't come running behind me. And she had a lot of locks. Fucking unlocked it and opened the door, and I took off running. I was fast. I used to run the mile and 2 mile real fast. Boy, I was hauling.
You had to be.
I was 19, probably weighed like 100 and 155,
You
160.
took flight. You just.
Man, I'll tell you what, if if I was against Usain, if I was against Usain Bolt, I would have beat Usain Bolt, man. That's how fast I was running. And when I was running,
They no cheetah catching up to me.
when I was running, brother, I kept looking back because I was imagining. She has the kind of powers because I was imagining
If
a
there was
fucking.
a lake, Michael Phelps wouldn't catch up to me. I'm just
Uh, I was flying, brother. Hey, uh, I was imagining like a witch coming after me, gliding in the air, right? So
yeah,
I was,
just like.
yeah, I booked it, bro. You know
Fuck
what? I
that
didn't even go through
shit, bro.
I,
Fuck that shit.
this is how scared I was.
And then you feel something as you're running. You feel like a little thing here, just like kind of.
Let's put it this way. I
You're
didn't even
like,
go
it's
through.
catching up to me.
You
It's
know,
catching.
Germany, the barracks where there's a big wall. I didn't even go through the main gate. I jumped over the wall, dude. I jumped over the wall.
You know how the cartoons when they jump through walls, and then they have like the outline of you just.
No, I literally jumped the freaking wall, dude. And that wall was tall, dude. I think it was like an 18 to 20 foot wall. That's how fast I was going that I jumped the
You
freaking wall, dude.
flew. You
Flew
flew.
over the sucker, dude.
This werewolf crazy ass witch bitch is not gonna catch me.
Flew from like a model female into old ass lady with white eyes rolled back,
Yeah.
talking a different language, you know?
Well, that's what it is. You know what? You know what the thing is that like what I tell people because they like to talk about. People talk about science. I'm a scientific man. Fine, I am as well. Yes, there are things that are scientific, but if we're gonna be scientific, explain to me then we are in a we're in this ball that's just around this fireball, which is way bigger than us, around these planets, around all this stuff. And all the dark out there. We're just We're just flying through it. I'm tired of people telling me like, oh, well, there's certain things that are certain. What do you mean certain? We're flying through the dark. It's dark. We can't see shit. If you turn off the light, it's just dark. It's just dark around this ball, and somehow we're spinning, and somehow we're flying, and through like infinity. And then we came here out of nowhere, like we popped up, like, oh shit, no, I'm here. Will you teach me how to play guitar? You know? And then and then it's like, okay, so what are the rules here? Well, as much as we figured out, this and this and this and this, and we agreed to this while we're here, but we don't know. It's going to change in about 100 years. Totally different rules. Doesn't matter, because you won't be here in 100 years anyway, so don't worry about the rules. Just go. You know what I mean? And it's just like we don't really understand. And then where we go, because they're like, oh, you're not gonna be here in 100 years. And it's like, what do you, what do you mean? Sorry, what did you mean by I'm not gonna be here? Yeah, you're just gonna in 100 years, the same that you came in here with, you're gonna go out like again.
We're just
Out.
here temporarily, man.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
We
like,
don't have to cross over
okay, so
temporarily.
okay, so what are we gonna do about this? None of us know. None of us know what we're gonna do about this. Okay, so we're just gonna live here in despair together, and not know, and not question, and not, like nothing, and just be flying through the stars. Is that what we're gonna do right now? Yes. Okay, I guess. So it's like it's kind of like that thing of we don't know. So when people say like all this different stuff, like we have no idea. We have no idea what the fuck is happening. So when people go like, "Oh, that's impossible," really? 100 years ago, they said that bacteria didn't exist, and it was impossible that these little organisms existed that was making us sick flying through the air. Then now you know what I mean? So what else? What are we going to figure out in 100 years? What are we going to figure out in 200, 1,000 years? That's happening right now. And also, these people who seem to have the truth don't seem to enjoy other people having that truth. They don't like it. They don't like it. They know, they've seen, they've studied, they've went through it. They don't fucking like it. Soon as you go like, oh, saying anything that I've said right now, they go like,
I know,
or like, shut
man.
that guy up.
Yeah, I'll run into those individuals. I always have an open invitation to I'll take them to Elms Grove where I had my encounter, and I know they still exist there because there's people that contact me that live there right now that they're going through things right now. So the activity's still there. There was this man that built the airport nearby where I used to live, and he said, seen my I came out of this with the Sonic season 3 episode 2, and he said that when they were digging up the airport, building the airport, that they found a mass Indian burial site, native burial site, but the foreman told him to cover it up. So he believes that all that area plus where the mobile home was, that
was Indian burial ground. That's why there's so much activity there. You know, you got shapeshifters, skinwalkers, whatever you want to call them. I witnessed them there. I seen one like a deer woman. It was a woman, very beautiful woman with a beautiful smile. I'll tell you that one real quick. Me and my nephew were talking outside. He was late, like around 1:30, and we seen something big old black mass going to our neighbor's house, which was down the street. He had told me to watch over his house because he was going to be gone for the weekend. So we see somebody or something big, so we ran that ways. So we're looking to see if somebody's trying to break into his car. And when we were right around his mobile home, this woman, beautiful woman, came out of the darkness. You know, she had like a deer print shirt on, and she's looking at us, and she's got a beautiful smile, and she said, "Could you give me a ride?" And I said, "Man, my truck is not working." So she looked at my nephew, and she asked him, "Can you give me a ride?" With a beautiful smile. And my nephew told her, "Lady, I don't even know who you are." So as she was walking up the street, I witnessed something. Her leg,
You see,
right,
you see, you
her
see.
white,
Sorry to cut you off
yeah,
real quick, but you see how the
yeah,
pattern. There's a pattern there. There's a pattern of needing permission to do things,
yeah,
just like a vampire, let's say, or something like
yeah,
that, to go in your home. Like, there's always like, hey, can you give me a ride? Because if she
yeah,
wanted to force it, and if she could force it, then she would. She would have
yeah,
just went in. But like, why go through the whole ruse of asking
yeah,
me if I can give you a ride, if I accept, if I give you a name, if I do this? Why
yeah,
do you need my permission?
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Why don't you just take it? You're like a strong creature, right?
yeah.
You're like a menacing monster, right?
So
Then why not just come and take? Why do you need a if? Why do you need to stay on the side of the road and pose like you're like this? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, why do you need my compassion?
yeah,
Why do you need to fool me
yeah. And then
into
her legs
saying
started. She was
yes?
walking right, walking fast, and her leg started twitching, and I could see the leg of a deer, and he was freaking moving like this very rapidly. It's kind of like we caught her in mid manifestation, or should I say, shape shifting
Transition.
into transition. She hadn't fully manifested into the woman. Her feet, you could see the beastly feet. So me and my nephew followed her. By the time we went up the hill, we couldn't see her no more. So we ran, dude, like ran fast to the corner stop sign where the entrance of the park is, and we seen her going around the corner real fast, like moving super speed, like real fast. And she was just walking. She wasn't even running, but she was moving real fast out of the like. You know how you was talking about when somebody's like ice skating, moving fast. It was kind of
Yeah.
like that. Kind of
You
like
see
that.
him be like,
Yeah, yeah, moving fast. And she was only walking, but moving fast.
like she was it's not even walking, like you
Gliding,
can see the legs move, but it's kind of like a gliding. It's like
gliding, gliding. Yeah, it was like a
yeah,
glide.
it's kind of like, and it's crazy because like you a lot of the times we can't understand, um because of the way that we walk as human beings. We can't understand like how how are you like taking little steps, but you're like
Because
you know what I mean?
they're
Like,
gliding, they're moving fast.
that's walking like a motherfucker, you know. And but that's the weird thing is that is they always need permission. permission
Yeah, yeah,
And then also, like, for example, if we go back to the werewolf, the dog man, um creature, is when you ask me the first question you asked me, you're like, Hey, do you think that maybe uh, the dogman is spiritual or is it physical? Right? And but I think it's like when I said both, but I think like it needs it there's a time limit to the manifestation of that animal,
Yeah,
right? So the time limit that I have created in my mind is this: is if it's over like 2 minutes real quick, just like hello, or like chase you down or something, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes at
yeah,
most, manifestation, okay. It can do it from its spiritual place. But when you have a dogman, I don't like to use the word dogman. I like to use
werewolf.
werewolf.
Yeah,
If a werewolf, if a werewolf is a long time in an area, and it's a lot of people have seen it, and it's occurring over and over again, and things like that, that's when I move towards it's not just physically appearing for 2 3 minutes. Now it's using a body.
yeah. Like
So a person may have summoned it, a
it's kind of like
person may have conjured it into
the form
themselves.
of what the natives used to call Wendigoism.
Exactly.
You know,
Wendigo,
where Wendigoism
skinwalker,
literally is a
werewolf.
person being possessed, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, you allow it into you for you to shift.
Exactly.
And a lot of the times, why I bring up, for example, why do I bring up a lot of the conversations that I'm in? Why do I bring up always like a whole universal aspect of things? Because of the universe that we talked about us being here, about us flying, about us, you know what I mean? And we don't know. It's infinite. We don't know what's out there. We don't know what's possible or not. We have no idea.
Yeah,
Strange to us because we only can know a little bit. We can't know everything. There's no way that me and you can know everything about everything. So always there's gonna be a strange thing to us that we're gonna be
yeah,
like, "What? Oh my gosh, I can't believe! Oh my god!" You know, and even even human beings in general, we have as a species, right? Like, oh my gosh, moments
yeah,
all together, right? So that's what it is. But the thing that really messes with me about them is that like people just don't look at it. They'll even look at aliens, you know what I mean, like stuff from another planet coming in here and then so blah, blah. And I have seen,
yeah,
no, I've had encounters, but it's like these things exist. If you think about it, our bodies, look, I have a beard, right? It grew, the hair grew, my hair grew, right? So I was bald. I was completely bald 3 months ago. And then I did some medicine, I took some pills. Now I have a full head of hair, right? So that means that the human body can change itself, can mutate, can form, can, you know. So, why can't, just because we don't have proof that it can do that rapidly, that we can't do that fast, is that's proof that it's You know, oh, it takes a lot of time to grow up. It takes a lot of time for you to get taller. It takes a lot of time for your body to develop. It takes a lot of time for this and that. Why? We don't know that. We're not sure, you know? So if somebody could and somehow in this infinite space find a way through whatever it is to turn into a creature like this that we have proof of since the Romans, since the Christians, since in every culture, in every single culture divided at that time, so they weren't sharing informations. How do we have the same creature, the same thing right there? And we have proof that our bodies can change. So what is this? Because this thing is smart. It
You know,
walks around the house. Think about this. It's we don't make scary movies because the reason that they have the ideas to do scary werewolf movies, for example, it's not because it came from their ideas to real life. It's because there were accounts in real life that gave them those
yeah,
ideas.
yeah,
It's scratching along the walls outside.
yeah.
Imagine if you were a human and you just, you know what I mean? Like
But,
you
but
just scratch
but you got to think
along,
about it.
like I know you're in there.
The time frame, the time frame that is doing it is between those hours, the witching hour, the demonic hours that is doing this kind of activity, which will make it something of demonic of nature or unclean spirit, or something of that nature.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's trying to open your door. Imagine you just go to somebody's door, like if you, what I like to do, what an exercise that I did, which I thought was very very interesting and very very amusing, was that I was like, imagine if I was one of those creatures, what would I do, right? If I wanted to terrorize you, if I wanted to put fear in you, to test out your places, I just walk up to your door. Let's see, where else can I? Oof, tapped on his window. You know what I mean? And then you just do these things just to test out what would happen. Your
yeah,
prey, your, you know, it's smart. The thing is, if it was a bear or something like that, that would be totally fine. But the fact that this thing can go up to your knobs and test out your door and do all this stuff and be smart and climb on your roof, and
they
that's
have
what makes it scary.
they have many capabilities. Uh, urine on your doors, your vehicles, uh, climb trees. When people are looking down for footprints, they need to look up in the trees because it can be up on the trees, but because they have those abilities, but like I said, they can use Mother Nature itself to to form themselves, using the elements. So, like I said, they have many capabilities that are beyond us, but that's why I say the only way we can fight them is spiritually, because physically we're not going to be able to do nothing against them, but spiritually that's the only way we can fight them. That's how I battle them spiritually through Jesus Christ.
I do the same thing. I do my practice as well, and and do everything that I do. And trust me, I know what you mean by fighting, because a lot of the times I'm going to reveal to you something that's kind of weird. And it's weird to me, but I don't know if you only battle them physically, but sometimes it feels like when you have a dream and you're in a house.
Well, same way. I battle them both ways, spiritually and physically.
And you're in a house, but I mean, like the spiritual part.
Yeah,
When you're in a house, I have a lot of these dreams when I'm in the house, and not this house, it's a different house, and I go outside and it's just the woods, and then I know they're there, and it's like a fight,
yeah.
it's like a battle, and then you wake up, right, when it gets too much. And it seems like, just like when we were talking about the way that we have spirits and souls and then bodies, and then there's, you know what I mean, it's a different thing, it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
Our bodies are not our souls, souls are not our bodies. It's a different
just like
dimension, let's
when
say.
I say you have to fight spiritually, what I mean by that is you fight spiritually whether you're asleep or awake. So you got to fight
Yeah, awake.
awake or asleep.
Awake is the pain in the butt, man. I
Yeah.
mean, like to think about it. These
I,
things
I got
are.
pictures, brother. I got pictures where I got marks on my body where I got scratched. I got pictures where I got bruises. I got the pictures where I got shoved off the cliff. All kinds of things
Man,
happen.
these
And I
things
survived.
and these things are big, man.
I know.
They're like the paw prints are bigger than my hand. I have thick hands. I have
They look
thick
like
hands.
they look like basketball players, as tall as
Mm-hmm.
basketball players, taller than
Yeah.
basketball.
Look at the size of my hand,
Yeah,
right? And they're bigger than this. They're
yeah.
bigger than this, and wide too. It's not like a
They
pointy.
look. They'll
They're
make
wide.
Shaquille O'Neal look like a midget, man.
Man,
That's how tall they
you
are.
know, they're
So
huge.
all the guys that are like 7 foot, they'll make them look like the 7 footers be like midgets compared to them. They're
Exactly,
real
exactly.
tall.
But the thing that's most been bothering me is like I've been in situations that they were aggressive,
Yeah,
but the one that's been around here, even my mom has seen it, that I told you, it just doesn't seem like it just watches. That's the weirdest part to me. That, like, it just looks or walks around, it tries to open doors or something like that, but it's not like, I don't feel like it's trying to hurt me for some reason. Like,
I heard
it's
the
just watching.
I heard the noise of
You heard it?
yeah.
Yeah. They sometimes, because this is the thing. Since I'm a ceremonial magician, I work with a lot of angels and work with a lot of spirits and stuff. So
I heard it again. Top of the roof.
yeah, they walk around. They like to walk
It's
around.
making like a like a
But one of the things is that, like, I come from the Solomonic tradition. I come, like Psalm 91 is my favorite psalm. I've read the Bible 1,000 times. I love the Bible. I can, as we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, because thou art with me. Thou art my rod and my staff, and I shall not be shaken. I shall not be moving. I shall and I can just rattle off. I love, I just, I'm Christian. I love Adonai. Yohevav Hevazabeot. I love him, and he is my God, and that's it. But a lot of the times people can also coming to that. A lot of the times people can say like, well, how come if there are these bad things, and how can people allow them to do this and that and that? Well, it's free will. He gave us free will. We have the freedom. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's why I try to tell
Unless you
people
have
to
a
be
bunch
careful
of
what you believe in, because if it's this DDN that I speak of, you're believing in it, you're giving it power over you already. It's kind of like you're invited it in without an invitation. It's like it's got a free invitation. It's like crashing
yeah,
your party,
exactly.
Somebody, like somebody crashing your party because you're believing in it, or you gave it power in some kind of way, right? Whether it's through belief with it or through fear, you just can't give it power because the more power you give it, the more control it's going to have over your foundation and your, like you, is going to try to bond you. Is
Yeah,
there any words you want to say
the weird
to?
thing is that like it's been a thing that's been here for a long time. It's been here for a long time. It's just even
What,
before I was here. And also what I think is, and my feeling about it is that I can't shake, because I've thought about how, like, where did this thing come from? Where did, like, all this kind of stuff. But there's this one thing that comes into my mind that I can't just shake off. And what that is that, like, this is not, it's the spirit of it, you know, and also how it manifests. So going back to how it manifests, it's manifesting in like a physical person. Like there's someone around here that's that's been here, that's lived here. One of the main things that I've kept to myself, and thought of, and did meditation on and stuff like that, was the longevity of that. You know what I mean? And my own work, spiritual work in that, so nothing would be around, within my boundaries that was a spiritual, um, cr- Christian or Judaic, manner. So that's just ruled out. That would never exist. um there's no way, and I've trust me, trust me, there's no way. But there is something outside of my practice, multiple practice. There's something
Yeah,
outside my specific, and has been roaming around for a long, long time, and I just can't seem to hone down on it. It's weird. I went through all the stages of not wanting to believe it, to I'm crazy, to whatever it is, but this thing, even my family members, everybody, and you know, it's just outside of my realm. Basically, that's
yeah.
what it is.
You got to stand your ground, brother, and maintain your love foundation, your faith in Jesus Christ, and continue to fight spiritually, through prayer, and continue to bless your, your immediate foundation as yourself, and bless your home. You know, can't can't fear it, can't give it power by believing in it. You know, we know that it exists, but the only way to overcome it is to fight it spiritually with a love foundation. We can have hatred in our heart. We cannot have unforgiveness, because if we do have that, then we're playing in their favor, because
You know
they
what
have an
that
abundance
is
of the
to
world.
me? You know what that is to me? Cancer. That's cancer.
Yeah.
That kills yourself and everything around you. All that stuff. Including my father, just he recently passed.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Oh, that's
I
totally fine. He's with Jesus now, and he's with the Lord. He's with our Father God. He's with him right now at this moment. He when he was alive, it was tough, but I forgave him for that.
Is there anything you would like to say to the viewers that they like to troll, they like to say negative stuff like the pictures or videos, or that really don't take this seriously? You have anything to say to the non-believers of maybe, the faith part of it, how they have the ability to manifest or in spirit form? You have anything to say to those people?
Yeah. Um. Honestly, just like we spoke about earlier, um, you know, think about our own reality. Think about us. Think about ourselves. I mean, look, I'm sitting here in this box, and outside, like I said, there's a bunch of just, you know, it's just dark. I
Yeah,
don't see any of it, and it's just, and there's stars, and then there's black holes, and then there's quantum this and that, and dark matter and light matter and all, whatever it is. We're living in a fucking ball, okay? And it's made of stone and all this stuff and water and whatever, trees, wood, whatever. We're here. Okay, we're here. This is all we know. We don't know much. And even other human beings don't even know more than their living rooms. They don't know more than their garages. They don't know more than their towns or cities or anything. We don't know shit. We don't know shit about where we are at this moment. At this moment, as human beings, we know just as much as we can know at this moment. We know this, this, whatever this is to you, because this is going to be different for you, and this is going to be different for me. We don't know what the fuck is out there. We don't know what the fuck is in us in here.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. We still don't know. So it's okay. It's okay to who gives a fuck who who can who can come up and say I know everything. I know it all. I I am the king. I know every single thing. No, no. And there are people who are going to agree. There are people who are going to disagree. There are people who, I don't know, who gives a fuck? As long as we figure out what is and what isn't, like, everything just seems to be opinionated.
yeah,
It's just like sides. There are no sides because we don't know what everything is. So how can you make a team aside if you don't know what everything is? It's impossible. Let's just make one side. I hear
Yeah.
you, you hear me. We're good. I
So
love
many, so
you,
many
you
different,
love me. We're good.
so many different angles, man, to look at it. That
You
it
can
can be
look
one.
at it, you can, and that's the special part, because it's like there are so many different angles to look at everything.
Yeah,
It's just amazing. It's amazing.
yeah.
So many different people, so many different opportunities, so many different.
Ways of thinking. So shoot, it was nice, brother. I think I got to get going. I think running low on the battery power here, but we're gonna have to do another live, another day. This live right here that we're doing right now, um, I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna place it on my group on YouTube also. I have a spiritual encrypted encounters on YouTube, so I'm gonna download. The reason I do like doing lives like this because I want people to understand that just because, like on podcasts, for example, they hear somebody speaking, and some people want to go off at people thinking they're crazy and all this stuff. I do these lives here because I believe sharing is caring, and people should be able to hear what people have to say. For those who are open minded, just to listen. And I'm gonna place it on spiritual encrypted encounters on YouTube also. Download it and put it on there. But I really do appreciate it, brother. And I hope we helped each other out some, and then maybe we can help out each other more in the future. But I really enjoyed making this live with you, man. We talked about a lot of things, you know.
Mhm.
Even talked about being faster than Flash there in Germany when I got scared, man. Uh, but yeah, I really enjoyed making this video. I don't know how long we'll be talking. Then we'll be talking for a while, probably about 2 hours maybe. But we're gonna have to do this again another time. When I do it next time, it'll be not so late. It'll be uh, during the day. I'll see maybe I can get do another live within the group just like this to have more viewers. This was a late night feed, but these are the ones that surprise people because they don't expect this. That it's kind of like I want to I want to make these videos is so people could be like, well, he never said nothing was to with make a video with this guy, right? So we're gonna surprise them because they're like, hey, we need to check this out. They're gonna view it. But I like to do videos like that. Something that's not planned out, that is just out of the moment, because those are even better because the viewers get to witness the real you and the real me, and with no BS, no reading, no paper or nothing, just straight up talk. But I really appreciate it, brother, for your
Yeah,
time.
me looking like a crazy homeless guy.
No,
My hair's not even
hey,
done
don't be
or
surprised
nothing. We're
if people
here,
gonna
we're
wanna.
live, brother.
Hey, brother, if they're gonna want the recipe for the hair, man, you're gonna want.
Yo, that thing keeps. Just do keeps.
What was the recipe? I know there's some bald people in the members in the group. What was the recipe, man? They're gonna want.
It was the keeps, man. Keeps.
It's called
Called
keeps.
keeps. I did it for 3 months. I was bald. That shit worked, man.
But
It
the hair
worked.
came out wild or what? Or that's all
Well,
hair
it
was.
just because it's like early in the morning, so I didn't have time to to clean it up.
I was like,
But
I was like,
that's
man,
why
I
we're
don't know.
live,
I,
brother.
I,
That's why we're live
I
right
was like, I don't
now.
know
You
if
know what I
it's
mean?
keeps or he's a werewolf and he's transforming and he hair
Maybe I
keeps on going.
am. I'm gonna terrorize a farm family next door.
You're like, it's me. I'm the one that's in the cage. They locked me in the cage in the basement, so I want to escape, and I have to rattle trying to escape, but I can't.
You see,
But I'm
it's going up here. It's going down here. And it's all coming out.
I'm just playing, man.
Yo,
Yeah, but it was nice talking
I
to you,
love you,
man.
my brother. Thank you so much. You know
Appreciate
what?
it.
I appreciate talking to you so much. It's
No problem,
been
man.
like a blessing to me in my life, and I think that God brought you to me.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, in my life, I have noticed that the Lord has always taken care of me.
Yes,
Adonai, Yod Hevav Zabeot. He always took care of me, and he never left me. He never faltered. You know, even though I faltered sometimes, he
yes,
never faltered with me. And he never faltered until now by, bringing me another friend, another partner to, fight the good fight, to pick up the sword and the shield, which is him, you know,
yes. Amen.
and we can push on forward. And there's a lot of laughs, a lot of good things, a lot of jokes, a lot of tales, a lot of stories, a lot of beautiful things that we will share with each other, you know. And I thank the Lord. I thank Jesus. I thank the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
I thank our guardian angels. I thank Michael, Gabriel. I thank all of these who were there supreme,
Yes.
that
Amen.
that were there on our side, who are there by our side, and that they bless us, that they be with us, and everybody hearing this, that they bring blessing in their life, goodness, that they bring strength, that they bring courage to not fear when the abyss looks back at you. Look at it with courage, with strength, with power, because we do not walk with our own blessing, with our own power, with our own courage, with our own knowledge, and with our own wisdom. We walk with the wisdom and the power and the courage and the blessing of the Lord.
Amen. That's real, 100%, brother. I felt that one, brother, spiritually. That's why I go out there. When I go out there, I know the Lord is with me. You know, and I pray before, during, and after. You know, and for nothing to follow me home. If I have a bad dream, spiritual, I wake up and I rebuke it in the name of Jesus Christ. You know, we have to rebuke. We can't allow those negative, anything negative will try to attach itself to us. So we have to rebuke, you know, daily. If a bad thought comes to you, rebuke
Deny,
it. If it's a bad disembodied voice coming to you, rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name. We have
deny,
to rebuke daily
deny, rebuke. Yes, sir.
through Jesus
Yes, sir.
Christ.
That's the power. In the name of Jesus Christ, the Holy One,
Yes,
who
in the
died
name of
for
Jesus.
us. I love you, brother.
I love
All right.
you too, brother. Thank you. God bless you and your family. I'll
You,
keep you in prayer and see whenever you want to make another one, man.
yo,
We'll do it.
you can call me all the time. You can call me all the time, every day, anytime. We just keep talking.
All righty, brother.
We don't got anything better to do anyway.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Until we get to the Lord. And then when we're sitting there in the table, me and you, and we're going to have some food, some manna, so bless the Lord together. We're going to be together in the presence of Jesus Christ, in the Holy Spirit, in the Lord. We're going to be able to have one of the things that I miss the most, because I don't forget the Lord. One things that I miss the most is going around in circles around his throne and glorifying his name. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, 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 holy is the Lord.
Alrighty, brother.
We're gonna be together
That's it.
glorifying the
I
Lord.
like the prayer you said, so I'm gonna leave it at that note with the prayer you said. That was pretty awesome. You know, I felt that it was heartfelt. Till we meet again, maybe I can get with Brother Carlito, so we all could come out and on his group, Paranormal Kingdom, and talk about all this and other topics. You know.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, anytime. You know, I really appreciate it. It was actually random in the way that we met.
I
And I'm just like,
I just straight up said, yeah, you wanna go live with me?
I'm
We're late at
astonished. I'm
night.
like, oh my gosh, I just met these guys out of nowhere, and like, oh, it turned out to all of this.
To me, it's better to talk like this because we could talk better like this and over the phone, and we were able to say what we have to say. And it was an awesome show, I believe, for those who view it. All right, dear brother. God bless you. Good morning, and you have a blessed day.
You too, my friend.
Peace out.